What's going on, guys? JSGC here, back again with another Manchester City video. That's right, I am back with regular Man City content. Probably going to be more or less every single day now for the next few weeks for you guys to enjoy. So we're going to start off today with a Manchester City transfer update. For any of you guys that weren't aware, normally when it comes to the end of the summer transfer window, I like to give myself a week or two off just to recharge, reset the batteries. Normally I like it to be during the international break, unless I get a good deal, to which case it won't be during the international break, and that's what's happened here. I've had a couple of weeks in Chicago, Illinois, had a fantastic time, nice and recharged, ready to go again for Manchester City regular content for you guys to enjoy. So before I do crack on with today's transfer update, do make sure to go and check out today's video sponsor, Sofascore. Links and details there in the description. It's a free app to download, very highly rated. They're going to keep you guys up to date with the latest football scores, information, team news, and all your good footballing needs all in one place, all in one app. It's not just limited to football scores and info, it's got you guys covered for all the sports that you love to follow. So do go and check it out. As I said, it is free, worthwhile checking out. Anyone that does download Sofascore using my link in the description or the QR code on screen, it does help to support the future content created here on my channel. So firstly, we're going to dive straight on in with the contract news, and we've got a big update on Nico O'Reilly. So he's ended speculation over his future by signing a Manchester City contract extension. That's signed, sealed and confirmed. He signs a new contract until June of 2030. So 5-year contract for Nico O'Reilly. I'm sure there's a nice little pay rise in there as well. Things you absolutely love to see, and I'm hoping he's going to be given more first team opportunities over the coming weeks for Man City, and he can really showcase what he can do. And who knows, you know, we could be looking in the next 2 or 3 seasons Nico O'Reilly being a versatile, solid squad player, maybe even a first team starter for Manchester City. And the fact that the likes of Chelsea, Olympique Lyonnais, Bayer Leverkusen, Leeds United, who are all being linked with his signature according to the Football Insider, they all rate him. Man City clearly see something there as well. So great to get Nico onto a new contract. And speaking of players going on to new contracts, takes us nicely onto an update on John Stones, because the Daily Star have said that Man City are now working to try and get John Stones onto a new contract. His contract is up next summer. He's 31 years old. To be honest, I'd be getting this new contract written up, verbally agreed provisionally, and make it fitness dependent, because if he's not going to keep himself fit, then I don't really see the point of him being at Manchester City. We need him available for our biggest and best games. If we've got a huge week towards the end of the season that's season-defining, you need your best players available. And if John Stones is going to be one of Man City's best players, which when fit and finding form, he is an exceptional player, you need him to be relied upon, and that's the big question here. There's no point having him here if he cannot be relied upon. So for me, this is a really big season for John Stones when it comes to his fitness, because when he's fit, he's excellent. Homegrown too. Pep rates him. Khaldoon rates him. I'm not sure I'd be making this decision in the first half of the season. I'd maybe leave this to the second half of the season, get to February, March time, see how we're getting on. Then I'd say to John Stones, you know what? You proved your fitness. You're on a new contract. Or say to John Stones, you know, you're not keeping yourself injury free. We can't depend or rely on you. It's been like that now for years. You're at the end of your contract. You're into your 30s. We're going to have to be ruthless, and we're going to have to let you go. Ultimately, John Stones is a big earner at Manchester City, so I don't think I'd be so hasty to make this decision if we're going to let him go into the final year of his contract. I think I would let him burn away a few months before making that information available for us to make that decision. So, you know, information is power when it comes to new contracts, and I'd like a little bit more information about just what John Stones' fitness is looking like, because from what I've seen so far, he's excellent, but he's not keeping himself fit. So, you know, something's got to give here. Do you put him on a new contract? How long's that contract going to be? Is it going to be on a pay-as-you-play basis? What's it looking like? I mean, we need more details, if I'm being honest with you, but Man City keen to get him onto a new contract. We'll see what does happen. And speaking of City keen to get players onto new contracts, takes us nicely onto an update on Savinho, and this has really split the fan base. So Fabrizio Romano has said that City are closing in on getting Savinho onto a new contract amid some interest coming in from Tottenham Hotspur last summer. Savinho's under contract until June of 2029, currently currently with Man City, so he's got around 4 years left on his contract. He's currently on £2.6 million a year gross, which works out at around £50,000 a week. So I imagine he's going to be looking for a pay rise to reflect his importance to Manchester City, because I'm sure Tottenham Hotspur were willing to double, probably even triple his wage. So he's going to want that matching by Manchester City, and an attacker that's around the Man City first team squad, you would expect them to be on more than £50,000 a week. And I imagine when City signed Savinho and brought him in, that it said that, you know, you work your way up the pay scale and it'll be, kept an eye on a regular basis. And here we are, just a year down the line, being kept an eye on a regular basis. So, you know, we need, again, more information about what this new contract is looking like, because at the moment the Athletic have said 2-year contract extension to his current deal, so a new contract until June of 2031, so a 6-year contract. By the time we get to next summer, it'll be 5 years left on his contract. Tottenham Hotspur were interested in Savinho this summer, where he had 4 years left on his contract, so I don't think that 1 year extra contract extension by next summer is going to put Tottenham Hotspur off wanting to make another move for Savinho, or any other interested parties wanting to make a move for Savinho. So I expect them to still come calling in the next 12 months, regardless of this contract being signed or not. I think what's happening here is Manchester City want to maximise the value of Savinho. They know an extra year's contract here could be worth a lot of money. We're looking at around £15 to £20 million per year as the rate that was looking at. £60 to £80 million was the asking price set by Man City. Man City putting him on this new contract means that his value is going to obviously go up, and you'd be probably looking here at probably somewhere between 70 to £100 million, which gives Man City more leverage when it comes to a potential sale. It's for, according to Ben Jacobs, that Ferran Soriano was the chief at Manchester City that had put a block on Savinho leaving Man City this summer. He highly rates him. Pep Guardiola's confirmed, along with the BBC, the Mail, the Athletic, Fabrizio Romano, that City are close to getting Savinho onto that new contract until June of 2031. So Man City clearly backing Savinho here. It makes a lot of sense from a business point of view that Man City can get more money, but it does leave the big question mark about the elephant in the room when it comes to you earn your contract at Man City, because Savinho hasn't really set the world alight. He's done 1 year at City. He's not looked by any stretch of the imagination Manchester City's best player or Man City's best attacker that we have available to us. So there are other players who are working really hard to try and get onto new contracts who'll be looking at it and saying, hang on a minute, the statistics for Savinho don't really match up to warrant him doubling, tripling his wage because there's some interest coming in because you want to maximise his value. What about my hard work that I'm putting in both on the training pitch and also in terms of my numbers when it comes to playing competitive regular games? So this is something that Man City do need to, get correct, because it's not just about maximising a player's value. What do you do if Savinho is poor this season, or you keep him for another couple of seasons and he continues not to find his feet and continues to struggle and doesn't look like he's a good fit for Man City? Player then's got 4 or 5 years left on the contract. It becomes a very hard sale, and Man City would struggle to find a club interested in him. So I've called upon Man City. They've got to get better when it comes to their player sales, and this is something that City need to get correct in their decision making. And I'm not entirely sure right now is the best time to put Savinho onto a new contract. As I was saying with John Stones, you need information, and I don't feel like you're going to get a fair assessment of Savinho until he's been here for a couple of seasons. He's not been here for a couple of seasons yet, and from his first season I don't think it warrants a new contract. This is all about the interest coming in from Spurs, but if Man City and Spurs can't agree on a deal and Spurs cool their interest, all of a sudden here you're looking, if Savinho struggled, we're going to struggle to make a sale. So City have to get this right. City are very good at making money, and I think they're trying to learn their lesson here from Julian Alvarez and that sale, because I feel like Man City could, with a longer contract and a happier player, could have got a heck of a lot more money. And I think City are seeing the same here with Savinho, so they're backing Savinho in the hope that he is going to come good, and with that length of contract he's got to come good, because if it doesn't, it could be very disastrous for Man City. And City already turned down a heck of a lot of money in the summer from an offer from Spurs. I suspect they're going to come back in for him. In the meantime, what's it going to look like in terms of Savinho's performance on the pitch? And again, as I suggested with John Stones, I'd make it a provisional contract, a verbal agreement in place, but the contract doesn't officially get signed until you see better performances and better numbers. Stones has got to prove his fitness. Savinho's got to prove his quality, as far as I'm concerned. And when it comes to the top end of football, like where Man City are at, these are the ruthless decisions that you've got to be to get back to the top as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, moving on to the outs, got a quick update on Claudio Echeverri, struggling for some minutes at Bayer Leverkusen so far. Hopefully as the season goes on, that loan won't be unsuccessful and he will get more regular minutes. I'm also keeping an eye on what's happening with Vita Hayes at Girona, because it's not going great there either. And I do think to myself, maybe Man City could have done better player sales this summer and found a way to keep hold of Vita Hayes and Claudio Echeverri, but here we are. Anyway, Kicker in Germany have said that City have received a €2 million loan fee from Bayer Leverkusen for Claudio Echeverri this summer. That's £1.74 million into the coffers for Manchester City, and we'll see what does happen in terms of his development, because I think City will keep an eye on him and Vita Hayes ahead of a potential recall from January 1st. Now, moving on, we've got the latest on Manuel Akanji, and Fabrizio Romano has said that Inter Milan are now planning to sign Manuel Akanji from Man City next summer. They've got an option to buy included as part of their loan deal, which is worth €15 million or £13.08 million in today's currency exchange rate. Fabrizio Romano has said that Inter are very happy with the performances of Manuel Akanji so far, and unless something drastic does change in the next 8 months, Inter want to make that transfer permanent. Inter may want to try and negotiate on that €15 million fee. We'll see. I think that depends a lot on what Manuel Akanji wants to do and the interest that's coming in for Akanji as well. Potential player sales could be complicated going into next summer, because we are looking at a World Cup year in North America. Now, moving on, we've got the latest on Bernardo Silva, and Ben Jacobs has said that Saudi Arabia is seriously considering making a move for Bernardo Silva. Al Ali and Al Qadsiya in Saudi Arabia are interested in Bernardo Silva. It's believed that both these clubs are willing to offer Bernardo Silva a long-term contract at 4 years. Bernardo Silva has always been thought to be keen on a return back to Portugal once he leaves Man City, or at the very least a move back to Iberia, which is Spain and Portugal. So we'll see what does happen. My expectation as of right now is Bernardo Silva will see out his contract until June of 2026, and then he will leave Man City next summer. If that stance does change, of course, I will let you know in one of my transfer updates. Now, moving on to the ins, we've got a quick update on Bruno Guimaraes, and the Chronicle up in Newcastle have said that Manchester City did get in contact with Bruno G's camp early in the summer transfer window back in June. That potential talks and stuff got shot down from his camp, so Manchester City had said that they've ended their interest in Bruno G as of right now, so I'm not expecting City to make any move for Bruno Guimaraes at any point in the distant future, and it's believed that Man City have moved on to alternative targets, which is why Man City ended up signing Tijjani Reijnders from AC Milan instead. Now, moving on, another situation I'm keeping my eyes on is Marc Guehi. His contract is up next summer with Crystal Palace. He did have a failed move to Liverpool back on transfer deadline day, and it's believed that Man City are ready to rival Liverpool for Marc Guehi's signature once he is available for free. Now, it is thought that City are keen on a free move from next summer. Liverpool are expected to renew their interest in the January transfer window, which means they would be paying a fee to Crystal Palace to make this transfer happen. It sounds like Man City are not so keen to go into negotiations in the January transfer window to pay a fee to Crystal Palace, so I think that automatically puts Liverpool ahead of Man City when it comes to the race for Marc Guehi. Crystal Palace are going to want to cash in and get at least a little amount for him this summer, probably far less than what his actual value would be, but that's what happens when players run down their contracts, and I feel like this is more of an effort linking Man City with a move for Marc Guehi to get Liverpool to pay up and to get Marc Guehi a better offer from Liverpool, because I can't see Man City making this happen in the January transfer window. If this obviously if he doesn't sign for anybody in the January transfer window and doesn't sign a new contract with Crystal Palace, I can see City being very interested in stepping up their efforts for the 25-year-old English homegrown centre-back from Crystal Palace, but I just don't think that's going to happen, and I think this is just a ploy to get Liverpool to make that transfer happen, but we will see. Now, moving on to the final transfer of this video takes us on to a new name. It comes in the form of an update on Aleksandar Pavlovic from Bayern Munich. Now, SportsBoom have said that Man City hold an interest in the 21-year-old German central defensive midfielder from Bayern Munich. He is under contract for another 4 years until June of 2029. So in terms of a transfer fee, would be quite expensive and very difficult to make a deal happen. Often when it comes to Bayern Munich, it relies on the player wanting a move away from the club to make a transfer. transfer happen. And all this is coming about because there are some question marks coming in over Nico Gonzalez once more, looking or being rumoured to be a little unsettled at Man City, and Man City rumoured to not be too happy with Nico G. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on how many minutes and how many starts he's getting between now and the January transfer window, because Man City still obviously having their concerns over Rodri's fitness and injuries as he continues his recovery from his ACL injury, and it's a prime time here for Nico Gonzalez to really take over, take each game by the scruff of the neck and become a regular starter at City, and it just kind of faltering and not really happening for him. And because of that, Man City just wanting to, in the next 12 months, keep an eye on central defensive midfielders, including that of Pavlovic. So I'll keep my eyes and ears open with that one. Still waiting for developments on Rodri's new contract at Man City as well. We'll see what does happen, but I'm going to put a question out there for you guys. If City are thinking long term, with Rodri now 29 years old, turns 30 next summer, Man City may want to, in the long term, look for central defensive midfielders and look for players probably aged 22, 23 years old, maybe even a little younger than that, in terms of their long-term replacement for Rodri. What players should Man City be looking at for that position? If I am presuming here that Calvin Phillips will leave and potentially Nico G could leave Man City as well, what other players do you think Man City should be targeting? Pavlovic linked? What other players do you think City could be going for? Let me know in the comments below. Also, don't forget as well to leave a thumbs up on today's video. That would be much appreciated. Do subscribe as well. I'm going to keep you guys up to date with all the latest City transfer news here on YouTube, and also keeping you guys up to date with all the latest City content. So if you haven't already, do subscribe. It is free. Social media links there in the description too. If you want to go and follow me on my X, Instagram and TikTok, email also in the description as well. If you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. And finally, do go and check out today's video sponsor, which is brought to you by Sofascore. I'll see you all again tomorrow for the next Man City video, where I'm going to be doing my Champions League away day preview as Man City take on AS Monaco. So do stay tuned for that one. That will be out tomorrow, Man City's first away game in the Champions League for the season. So do stay tuned. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. Hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.